All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. First live stream of 2026. And we'll see how, we start the year, right? We see how they start the year. Let's go to our screen. The futures aren't really doing much tonight. And honestly, they're not that relevant at this point. We saw how quickly they could reverse and change direction on open. So to me, this is just nothing. This is essentially nobody's ready to make a move yet. So market participants aren't really ready to make a move. I believe Monday we'll start to see some action, right? Volume come back. So right now, tonight, we're not seeing much. The Venezuela thing, to me, is in most of the case, most ways priced in, right? There was a military conflict of some kind that was expected. I don't think you're going to see dramatic volatility from it unless there's some kind of retaliatory action that no one anticipates or a miscalculation, perhaps, or like resistance within the country or something like that. That would definitely, throw things for a loop. So market is right now, again, on the grand super cycle degree, right? Very extended, very parabolic. Can it keep going? Sure, it could go a little bit more. And I keep saying, for those that have every penny invested in the market, every dollar they own in the market, and completely complacent of the risk that you are taking, just understand that at some point this will end. It always does. So is this the year we start to see it end, see it pull back? We are overdue for a bigger pullback, a bigger correction against this April low. This cycle has gone uncorrected essentially on the monthly time frame. We're overdue. And you can see the bearish divergences playing out. What's typical of a fifth wave, but on a higher time frame, it could be even in a larger fifth wave. So that's even more dangerous for the market and for investors that are not paying attention. This can easily be a 1-2. This whole thing could be your wave 3, right? Your wave 4 somewhere around here. Like, I don't have to make this too complicated, and now you're in your fifth wave, right? I don't even need to label it, and I can kind of give you that backdrop. If we go to the SPY, right, the weekly time frame, more to labeling for now. If you look at the weekly time frame, we're about to get crossover on the stochastic RSI to the downside. That would start a multi-month correction once that confirmation happens. On the weekly time frame, you've started to roll over again on the RSI here. Once we breach that level, the market will go into bear mode just like it did here until we come back and recover the trend line here. So as long as we're below that trend line, the market will be in bear mode. It will be sell the rips, not buy the dips, sell the rips. Now, once we break this downtrend, then the market could potentially continue higher. So the market's on at an inflection point. We're crossing over on the monthly and weekly cycle once again. Okay, so the market's susceptible to a bigger pullback, and that's what we keep saying. And that's my morning update. I gave this update that at one point, I don't remember which one, I mentioned this was likely a fake out, not a breakout, and that has proven to be the case. Friday's morning update, which I gave to anyone who was willing to listen, talked about this rally was likely to get stuffed down, and it got stuffed down. Okay, so because the market's in bear mode right now. Now, if the bulls can come back and take out this peak, it can change things. But until that happens, the market's going to be under pressure from sellers getting more confidence. Every dip that gets bought that doesn't result in new highs, like what happened here on right before the holidays, right here, that, and on the triple Qs, this, and it failed. Those are telling you where the market wants to go. So you have to come back and generate more enthusiasm. The Federal Reserve pumped in a lot of money over the holiday period, and they didn't get much out of it. Right? I'm not sure what they were trying to accomplish, but whatever they did, I don't think was successful in terms of if their goal was to get the excitement, exuberance, and restart this cycle again. Because I think they know the cycle has ended, and they're trying to keep it going for a little bit longer. I don't think they were ready for a rug pull, at least last week. Now maybe this week's different. Maybe now it's time to let the sell-off happen. So now we have the markets kind of flat, so we're expecting more downside. Bitcoin looks like it's consolidating here, and I don't recommend trading crypto. I know there's many people out there that just have to trade it every day for whatever reason. I think it's a very tough pattern to forecast using Elliott waves. Maybe your system has a better insight into it, and if it is, go for it. My system right now will tell me to stay on the sidelines. And the way we would want to do it is we would short on this on a surge. If we get a surge higher, what a gift to short. And then if we get a crash, what a gift to buy. But in here, what are you doing? Nothing. You're doing nothing. You're trading other instruments. You're putting this on your watch list, and you're going to trade other things. And you're not caring about whether it's a CDE or I'm going to get a super pump to 105. Who cares? You're just going to react to the move. You're not going to guess the move, right? If you buy it here, you're trying to guess the move. You're guessing the move, unless your system has insight into where it's going. And your system may do that, and that's good for you, right? Good for you. You have the edge. My system, we wait for the move, and then we react to the extreme pump, the extreme short squeeze, shorts being blown up here. They shorted in the hole right here, and then of course a capitulation crash. We'll buy, but in here we can't trade it. I don't trade it. So a lot of people are like, "What is it doing? What do I want to do? Should I buy? Should I sell?" I would actually say, do nothing. Don't trade it. That's what I would say. And if I'm forced to make a position on it, right, it's likely to either do what I have here, or if we continue higher and break this peak, then you're going to get this squeeze, and the shorts, the people who shorted in the hole, are going to get blown up. They're going to get blown up. Okay? But it's going to create another opportunity to lock and load new short positions, right? If you're patient and wait, if the market gives you that setup. So that's what's going on in crypto right now. And then the metals, we look at the metals pumping tonight, but they could be in a bigger connector. And that connector could last as long as the oil connector has gone on. What do you mean by that? Well, the oil connector has gone on for a long time. Like, look, we had the first wave down, and we essentially traded sideways in oil since April 23. April 23. Silver could be here or here. We could do the same thing in silver and consolidate in a range for 2 years within this range right here. And I'll draw this box. Something like that. Maybe like that. We could consolidate and play around in this box for 2 years before we get the dump. So what's happening tonight? It's just noise in the system. It's just noise in the system until we can take out the all-time high again. Is all it is. It's noise in the system. It's traders slashing the knife fight. It's a knife fight with day traders, pajama traders right now. So you have to be patient and wait. If now you could guess right, maybe it will take out all-time highs. If we take out all-time highs in silver, well, then we're not correct in the full cycle. We're still in wave 5 of this primary wave 1, which means we go to 120, and we're still going parabolic. We're still in the parabolic phase. It hasn't ended. That's what that means if we don't get the consolidation or another low. If we just start to moon, and we could. Now, if we do that, that's going to definitely put pressure back on the market, I would imagine. Oil didn't really do much tonight. It's just kind of chopping around. People are trying to chess play oil. What does this mean? More supply? How many more barrels per day, per hour? Venezuela has heavy crude, but heavy crude, it can only be refined in Texas City, and Texas City only has this. And they're all doing all these mental calculations, and they're all like, go short, go long. And you know what? It's irrelevant because the chart is sentiment based, and right now it's the market hasn't shown its hand. I do believe it goes lower eventually, much lower levels before it goes much higher. But we could still chop around sideways. Like I said, we've been chopping around sideways really since 2023, and this could come back up, and we can go even longer sideways before we get this capitulation lower. So there's a lot that can happen. So again, I don't like to trade oil here or gas. So that's kind of what's going on in the overall market at the moment. And volatility is extremely oversold. No one has any hedge, no protection. Most people don't have any protection, and they're completely complacent. If you woke up one morning and Taiwan is gone, another chess piece off the chessboard, I guarantee you the VIX will be up 200-300%. Easy. Market will be limit down. And then you wish you'd have some protection. That's what will happen. Now, will they ever do that? Most people think they won't, and they won't do that. I personally don't think they'll go that far unless they feel really boxed in. I think they'll play the long game. They probably see Trump as a lame duck if the Democrats take over, and they probably just see, well, let's play the long game. So they probably won't do anything. They may try to get international community to rally against what they did. So I don't expect it. But if they were to do something crazy like that, well, believe me, volatility would go through the roof. And that's where the market participants are flat. They just don't, they're pricing in perfection. What's priced in the market is the narrative of perfection, which has been fed to most market participants by the super influencers and the TV channels. That everything is perfect, everything is going great, and nothing can go wrong with AI, with any of it. And so they've gotten investors completely asleep at the wheel, complacent right now. All right, let's go to your questions, guys, and let's take a look at the market through your questions like we normally do. So let's start out, take a look at what we have. So got these in like yesterday, starting out with, let's see here, SOXS and UVIX in any significant fib levels. Well, the SOXS is in, I mean, again, if you want to chart it, it's in a three-wave move that ended here. And now it's trying to consolidate around that three waves. And it's in kind of this erratic count as of now. We could capitulate lower and end the B wave in the next couple days. That would require the semiconductors to pump some more. But if they can't do that, we'll get something, I think, like this. You know, something like this is what I'm thinking. Okay? I wouldn't recommend trading it at this point because of this, unless you can get a capitulation move down. As you can see, you have a lot of bullish divergence, which shows you have not you have not broken. You need to break below this level, and you haven't done it yet. And since you haven't done it yet, we can't say that the higher degree B is done. So if we were to rally back up, we're still within X of B, a connector and a connector. So it'd be very erratic trading, because, and it makes sense because investors would be super confused as AI does not make any more gains. AI does not make any more gains, and so it'll be super erratic. Money will rotate violently around the sector looking for something to pump that, and that's what this represents. So something like this is probably what I see as of now, but that could change. Now, fib levels, you could, do something like this, and then you get 261, right about where we are now, but we have an arrested divergence. So I think if this is a key fib, we'll go lower, and then you have another level here off of this low, which is 255. So you have a confluence of fibs at 255, 261. Okay, it would have been nice to just have this capitulate down on Friday into this area, but it didn't. And since it didn't, you could have something like this, okay? And it could even do something even more sideways, right? So I don't really recommend trading this instrument, but this is kind of what I'm seeing right now. Now, if we wake up tomorrow and they're pumping semis again, then it changes things a little bit, because then you can get this B wave into that fib support. You erase divergence, right? You erase divergence like I showed you. Then you can rally in C, and then you can try to buy the first pullback off of C. But I don't know. This just looks like a mess right now. Trading this instrument. And then the UVIX, we keep saying, and I've said this so many times on my channel, but if you're new to my channel, we never bottom fish the UVIX unless your stop loss is 0. Okay, now if your stop loss is 0 and you're cool with that, then bottom fish, go for it, because it's like a lottery ticket. Because if you get that big volatility event, if you guess right, let's say you guessed the night before China invades Taiwan and you got UVIX, you're going to be making 200 to 300% on that trade, easy, overnight, easy. Whoever's short UVIX will be, that's where you lose more than your account balance. That's an example of that. So that's a lottery ticket play, bottom fish in the UVIX. The better way, the better strategy always has been to wait for a reversal like you see here and then buy the first pullback against the low. Every time you do that, you get a huge move higher, almost every time, and then you get out of it. Or you have your strategy. If you bottom fish it, it's almost a lose. You got to be very lucky. But if you buy the first pullback, you don't have to be so lucky. Once you see the cycle end, like here, we had a big downtrend. We saw the cycle end, and then you had another pullback. This was a great pullback to buy against these lows, and boom, easy money, easy money. So this will be no different. This cycle is going to end, but it's also going to end a much larger cycle. It goes, much from earlier. So the bounce could be more substantial when it does end, but it hasn't ended yet. It just keeps going lower. Now I just for the hell of it, because I get bored, I do the count on it. And right now, depending on where I draw this 4, depending on how I draw this, if I put the 3 here and I make this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 5 could end it on Friday. Okay, that would be a spike now, but I don't think we're seeing that, right? The Venezuela event is over before it started. So perhaps 5 goes lower, right? But it could also raise divergence, and then this becomes another 1, 2, 1, 2. So we don't know. But Friday, that could have been, that was a little pullback, but that hasn't ended the cycle. We need to see a big spike higher to know we ended the whole cycle. Okay, this daily cycle. Once we see the daily cycles end it, right, and we're getting close to that moment, right? We're very close, very, very close. But when that moment happens, and you get that big reversal, big green candle, and then you get a pullback, that's your opportunity to try to buy UVIX. Buying it here is just like a lottery ticket with a stop loss of 0. Now, fib support, we had a lot of fib support here. It tried to defend the box, but it was overwhelmed. The Federal Reserve, all the liquidity they put into the market just overwhelmed, crushed volatility. But now it's so oversold, right? And now you're seeing I think you see bullish divergence on most time frames. Let's take a look at how we look overall. Let's take a look here. We have bullish divergence against that low, against this low, against this low, and the monthly is irrelevant. And we have bullish. So you have bullish divergence on every time frame on this instrument for now. Okay, so do what's best for you. But if you want to buy it, you're going to be buying it at with a stop loss of 0. And we are in a fifth wave of a fifth wave of a fifth wave. You get it. So it's a fifth wave of a fifth wave. So Venezuela news could have done it, but it seems like everything is settled down there. So I don't think you're going to get that volatility spike. I don't think the VIX. Last I saw, the VIX futures wasn't really doing much. Okay, so that's where we are with the UVIX. Okay, the next question. Let's just kind of keep going. It's a set of stocks. This United States antimony. I don't even know what they use this for, but it's some kind of rare earth, obviously. So again, we had this nice 5 waves down. We called this top pretty well. Now we're in B. So it's like silver. B, we could trade around in here for years, months. but since it's 5 waves down, we need a connector wave. So I know everyone is hoping for, I want to just buy it, but you have to understand this connector wave, just look what oil's done. Since 2023, oil has gone nowhere. These metals may do the same thing. We may go nowhere for 2 years in this range that I have circled here, in this range. And then you get C. The best case scenario is it happens right away. The computers just take over. And then it happens that quick. So this is if the computers can just take over, and then you do something like that. But right now you're in the middle area. So it looks like 5 waves down. I would expect you're correct in the whole cycle, like we have here from the beginning of, let's see, which cycle are we in? Since 2016. So chances are you're going to be consolidating for a while. Okay, the 1968-1970 analogy, when silver broke out, it broke out. It hit its new all-time high, and then it consolidated for about 3 years, 2 to 3 years before it really started going again. So, and again, we use that analogy to forecast what price. So if I used that example, we said silver would hit 82, 83 and peak. And ironically, it hit it 82 and 83, and that's on my X site. Again, that was the target based on the 1970. Everyone said, oh, the 1970s is like 100, but they're doing it. They're not looking at it right. They're looking at the wrong degree. They're looking at the wave 3 of the 70s, not the first wave out. So they made a mistake. And so if you really want to use the analog of the 70s, you have to go to 68 and see that first wave, and that would equate to silver hitting 82, 83, which is already done, and then consolidating for 2 to 3 years. 2 to 3 years. Then you get the run. But that's not even the best move, because wave 5 is the best. And that would be wave 3. So these metals, you got to understand that we may be in a consolidation phase. It's going to take a long time now. Okay? And I don't recommend trading it in this phase until you get this C leg, and maybe the computers have it happen sooner than we think, because again, unlike the 70s, we have algorithmic trading, and once these computers decide the cycle's over, damn, we go right to the level, right? So perhaps this will happen much faster than we think. The next question is on Zcash. And Zcash here is, again, I have it as of the data we have right now, I can't call this a completed connector. So again, we have this erratic price action. Perhaps we go a little lower, and then we pump, and then we crash. And if we did what I have here shown, we would eventually see like $10, $9.50, but we would also see $40. But you would go down and then go up and then come down to finish this pattern, because you have a higher high now that's incomplete to the upside on the connector. And I believe if I looked at this right here, if I looked at the 45-minute, let me see if maybe mixing this up with something else. Yeah, so I think the reason I have a swing higher again is we have a higher high here, but we didn't really create it's an incomplete cycle higher. So we need to complete that cycle, and that's what this does. But it also generates a little downside, because there's really no other way, because this leg would be correcting this move. So there's no other way to do it. Do I recommend trading it here? No way. But I know traders love to trade this here. You would be better off. So I told all my members, guys that are members, this is the year of patience. 2016 is the year of patience. And you're going to be in connector waves in many instruments on the monthly and weekly cycle. It's going to take time for these to play out and get that capitulation wave, unless we get lucky early in the year with a crash, okay, with a market meltdown, a COVID or something, a Volmageddon or something. If we don't, in the absence of that, it's going to just wander around here like I have here for perhaps months, and then at some point a capitulation event emerges. So if you're patient enough and wait, you probably get better prices. Why do we think it goes lower? Well, you have a lower low and you have an incomplete move to the downside. So this is likely to go lower. All right, HUT. We're looking at one more wave higher. Once we break this high, the move can end at any moment, and you'll have a massive meltdown if this doesn't erase divergence. So it still looks like you have more upside. But it looks like you're coming to the end of the line. We had to buy here, and then it's about, if you're looking at this count, you'll have a massive meltdown. But also on the bigger picture, we only have 3 waves up. So there's no guarantee you'll ever see these highs ever again in your life. So don't fall in love with it. Don't fall in love with this because, yes, we had buys. Look at these pink boxes. We had buys all in those pink boxes, but now the move is coming to an end, right? It's coming to an end. And now we can't guarantee new all-time highs. We can't guarantee this high will ever be taken out again. We have massive bearish divergences probably here. So this is a very dangerous count that it's in once we take that high out. All right, Bitcoin dominance is really tricky. I see the question is, I see the altcoins capitulating at the 77% level. This seems to be a key fib level. What does the count say direction? Okay, so if Bitcoin dominance is rising, I do see it going to 77% too. So I see that. And altcoins making another low. So yeah, I'm aligned with your forecast. My forecast aligns with your forecast. So this is the forecast. So if remember, this wave down was the alt season. We all remember that anyone who traded crypto made a lot of money. You could throw $500 in an altcoin and wake up with $30,000-$40,000, right? That's what was happening to me back then. I wasn't as good of a trader as I am now in crypto. I was kind of new to crypto in this time frame, but I knew enough to buy it. But then you wake up and you're like, oh damn, $500 is now $25,000-$30,000. What the hell? How do I get the money out? So you have to figure that out. So if this wave happens, you're going to get another one of those alt seasons. I know it's hard to believe. We don't know why. Why would this happen? Well, this is a dollar, U.S. dollar meltdown, right? This will probably be the dollar going down. This is the dollar rising. This is the correction we're talking about. This is the Bitcoin. And then this is the dollar weakness returning with a vengeance, right? So that's what this is. That's what this chart is saying. It's saying alt season coming again. Then you'll have 3 legs and then a huge bounce that will take probably decades to play out. So then alt season goes bye-bye for a long time. So this is probably the last chance for alt season for a long time when this happens, whenever this happens. But right now, the count is still favor more upside against this low here at 57%. So we should be seeing a move higher soon. And I guess that's bad for altcoins, which is kind of aligned with the charts I'm looking at. Okay, the next question is on Oxy. Let's see here. Oxy is kind of tricky because I believe it's in a connector. And it depends on how I label this. If I label this as 5 waves, then it's an A, B, and an A, and then a B and a C, or I can label it this way. So I think we get more upside. I think it does something like this. Okay. It's looking, with this move higher, you do have a lower low. It needs to create more space, so it needs to go higher to create space for this correction so you can hold that low. So in some ways, it's good to see that pump. But with the lower low here, this pump is likely to fail at some point, and then you get another leg lower. But the bottom line is this has to hold. This low has to hold. So I think it's okay. You have 5 off the low. I think you're just correcting. I think this one's pretty straightforward. But I do think it's going to do like an expanded flat correction, depending on if it's a WXY or ABC. Something like that. Okay. The next question, MSOS. MSOS is kind of tricky. We do have a higher high here, indicating there's a likely move for more upside whenever this finishes. However, we can't rule out a flat off of this peak as well. which would create more downside than I have shown here. So this is the more aggressive view, showing 5 waves up with 3 back. And then, technically that could be the low. I don't think it is. I think we make another leg lower, and then we can project a box that ironically fills our gap. So maybe you get something like this. I still think this is some kind of connector wave here. The higher, we could go higher, but I don't think it changes the fact we have another leg lower. And because we really have this Y is really truncated, it would be highly unusual to have it truncated and not have the gap fill. So to me, it's gonna fail at some point. So again, if you're patient and wait, you should be okay. Now, if it is a flat off of this peak, peak here, so we would have to label this as 3 waves, put it here, have that W, have that X, so you have an A, B, and this would be C. You would have some kind of 1, 2, and then of course we would melt down and come back down to these lower areas, but staying above the all-time low here, right? So you have to, if you really believe in this and you want to stay committed, you have to just dollar cost average into it, because you can't really get it. There's no clear setup yet, right? There's no clear setup yet. That's why buying it early is so important. And again, for elite members, we literally followed the count. And as soon as we saw the breakout, we bought the first pullback against that low, right? So we watched this play out as elite members, our elite members. And as soon as we saw this breakout here on this candle, the minute we saw it pull back, I told everyone, buy it now. The cycle has ended. You back into a low now. And now you have a very low risk, high reward. And that proved to be the right call. So I keep saying, if my members who bought it here, they don't need to do anything right now other than take some profit off the table to have something just in case the market does deny and takes out these lows. Because there's nothing's guaranteed. So that's the setup. But if you didn't do that and you're just getting in now, it's tough. It's tough because there's no clear setup. The market it's really hard to kind of gauge where it could be. So this is the next kind of area I'm thinking right now. And we can check the levels. Like you said, divergences. We can go to the weekly, the higher time frame first. So you have 1, 2, 3 waves down. You have the peak here, but that peak is on 3. It's hard to see it, but it's on 3. So that shows an impulse on 5 with the divergence there. Now, we are seeing momentum wane, but that's okay because it's a 1, 2, 1, 2. However, sometimes a flat would do that. But since it's a 5-wave move, flats need to be in 3 waves, so we don't think it's a flat. We do see a pullback here on the weeklies, trying to maybe go into a deeper pullback. That would also indicate potentially risk for a flat. So that's why I'm saying it's mixed messages, but I still don't like the flat idea on the daily cycle here. You have bottomed. You did erase divergence, right? You did erase divergence on that leg. You even went lower here, which is kind of irrelevant for our system. But that's the divergence erased on this leg. And now you're actually crossing over on the upside to the daily. So it's kind of like I said, a mixed message. Maybe X can go a little higher, and then we can get a clearer setup. A lot of possible ways this could work, but everything seems to show that we need more upside. We did not take out this peak here, so we don't see this as a corrective wave either. Because if it's a corrective wave, if this was just 3 waves in a corrective move, 1, 2, 3, we would have erased divergence here. And we didn't. So that tells us we haven't seen the real wave 3 yet. The real wave 3. Okay, so that's what that's saying. So that's the message this chart is saying to me, but I can't rule out a flat. And a flat would bring you back down to 250, somewhere down here. So that's a big difference between where our box is now. So it's why it's tough to try to anticipate where to go at this point. Maybe more data will come in and we can get a clearer setup. Or the next question is Indo. We can take a look at that real quick. MSOS, we already did that one, so we'll skip that. USAR. So Indo. Indo, we're just trading this. Again, we saw the cycle end, so we got aggressive buying it. almost like we did it, like almost a repeat of MSOS. And so far it's been working out okay. Now we were just counting the waves as of now. And Friday we saw this big candle. Looks like someone knew. Someone already got a heads up. I don't know if I don't understand the mechanics of the market enough to tell you, like why Indo would moon here. But maybe there's a good reason for it given the situation that we have in front of us with Venezuela. Maybe the supply will go down in the short term because of the commotion and just the change in leadership and the blockades and all this other stuff. So maybe that will help Indo. I don't know. So we just trade the chart. We don't try to guess. Now, we only have 3 waves up. So there is possibility that this rally could fail. And if it were to break this low, right, it will likely break this low, which means it's likely break this low. It cause a chain reaction. So you probably want your stop at 285, but definitely you want it here at 270. So it's got to take this peak out. So we'll know tomorrow. How's it going to trade tomorrow? I don't know. We'll find out. But so far, we're just playing the bullish wave. But if it breaks these levels, well, then the market's going to take it down another leg. And we always say on our channel, we don't hold and pray. We dump it. We get rid of it. We erase this from our memory. As soon as these lows break, this chart comes off and we don't talk about it again until we see another setup. If you're a trader that can't take a loss or can't sell something, then you shouldn't do this, because I don't want to hear from anybody out there. If you're in Indo and it's trading at $1.80, you're still in it. That's your fault. That's not my fault. Because you have to stop out. You have to leave the trade. You can't just hold and hope. So if this doesn't work out, you gotta just walk away from it, because what this will turn into is a bigger 3-wave move. And then we're likely to come back to retest the low at 210. And if we break that low, well, then it's going much lower. So that's why the setup is so important here for the bullish case to play out. So important. Okay, it's so important. But I'd rather stay long. I'd rather be on the long side. And so far, it's been doing okay. But we have to wait and see. And USAR, we had seen MP break its low, and that tends to trade with that ETF. Now, we did not break this low yet. Once we break that low, then I think it's destined for the box here at around under $10. Right now, it's just kind of a connector wave that I could label either way. Probably, I think I'll go ahead and just label it this way for now. Right. So we're looking for a bigger meltdown in this sector at some point. And we're correcting the cycle that goes all the way back to May 25. This huge pump, basically is going to round trip on people. Okay, so that's what we're correcting right now. And the only reason we're forecasting more downside is because we saw a breakdown in MP, and that's likely to take the whole sector down. Because if the MP is the darling, right, it's the leader of this thematic group, and if that is making lower lows, it's going to take the whole ship down. Now, the problem, again, if you're a short-term trader, you're like, oh, I'll just short and make a quick buck. And you can't do that, because we could still chop around in X, like I said, potentially for months before we get this move lower. So you really can't trade it right now. It's not really tradable. You're going to have to wait for that capitulation wave. I'm just labeling it as if we're in it now, but I can easily, you see, we only have 3 waves. The market could do something really erratic and really mess people up. Imagine if it does that and then crashes later. How would we know? How would we know? Well, you would have to wait till this high's taken out, but then you'll miss a lot of this, and then what? You're just playing for that little bit, so it wouldn't make sense, right? So you can't really trade this type of thing, at least with my system. Maybe you have a system out there that you can trade that, but I don't recommend it. I'd rather wait and react to the sell-off, to the panic and the fear and the mispricing of the asset because people are panic selling, then guess where it's going to go, and then pray that it works out okay. So we're going to wait. So we're going to wait. If this happens, great, we'll buy it. If it doesn't, we will be like Chipotle. I can wait a year or two. I have all the time in the world. I'm in no hurry to buy this. I could care less. Let it chop around here. I could care less. I don't care. I'm going to wait till it capitulate. It will. And then I'll come in and buy it. And we'll wait as long as we have to. And if you follow me long enough, we have waited. And boy, we've waited on some big corrections. DraftKings, we got that at the exact low. We got Palantir at $8. Yes, my channel, guys, all my followers got Palantir at the low. We called the lows on all these major stocks. Robinhood, we got all those lows. But we did not buy them as they were falling. We had to wait, that big correction. So you got to wait. You're going to have to wait. And if you wait, you'll reward it. All right, the next is UA. UA is Under Armour. Let's take a look at Under Armour. Under Armour is the low in. I don't think so, unfortunately. I don't think it is. And I do see a rally coming. If again, with the data I have now, we have a lower low that indicated this pump would fail, which it did spectacularly. And now it's going. Now it's got to make the 3-leg move down. And you go, well, could that be the low? But I think when I looked at it, you don't have divergence erased. Right? You need at least this weekly, this leg, you need to take out these lows. You got to take all that out. So you're likely to go lower. But when you look at this count, it looks like it's going to pump a little bit. Okay? And then have a meltdown. Something like this. This is what I'm thinking. So I think you're starting a pump, some kind of pump or rally, but it's likely to be a sucker's rally, another one to trap people. And in fact, it probably could be shorted in 3 waves. If you see a nice 3-wave move, it could be a great short opportunity. Baxter, the lows in either. I just kind of traced it out. It looks like it needs one more leg lower to complete the count. So we're in this 5th wave, and we need 3. And then that's 2, 1, 2, and then you have 3, 3, 4, and now you need one more leg down. So you need 3. So I'm still thinking one more leg down. It's not time. And it's not time yet. I have to fix these charts. So Baxter should bottom soon. I think it's got one more low. And the only way to negate that view is a bigger pump to erase the cycle. Let's see where we are in the monthly time frame. We may be getting close as we come to the end of the correction. It looks like we're getting pretty close, but we're not quite there yet. So we are where, it's close. There could be a chance I'm off by a swing. If we go any higher significantly, if we start to fill this gap or whatever, it's probably done. So I still think it goes lower though. But we're very close to a major bounce or a low in this company. And I'm not sure what happened. Damn. This goes to show you, see, everything does come back to earth. I think this could do no wrong back in its heyday. I think this was like a blue chip, like a J&J almost. Can do no wrong, and then somehow they screwed things up big time. I'm not sure what they did. So that's why you buy and hold, man. You cannot do buy and hold. You have to be paying attention to this stuff. Because look where it's trading at, where it did back in the year 2000, 2002. You just can't buy and hold these things. Now, maybe it had some dividends in there and some stock splits so maybe I'm not taking that into account with the price. But basically, your capital's the same amount. But anyway, that's Baxter, okay? The next stock being asked here is Brenntag. I do believe we're still in a downtrend. And Brenntag only made 3 waves up. And it's making 3 waves down and a flat connector in X. May never come back, but I would expect it would. But the reason is, again, we haven't erased divergence. We haven't erased divergence yet. So if I look at this leg, the C leg, so we have this move, this bounce here. This was 1, 2. So this could have been the low. So I'll tell you this. This could have been the low right here. Right here at 53.54. That could have been the low. But as soon as we broke that low, it opens up a whole new cycle lower. And then that 3 now, the new wave 3, will have to take out the divergence here. It will have to crash. So my guess is it's got a major meltdown. So this is red alert. This is major danger. This chart is showing major warning signs. Okay, for any long investors right now, huge warning signs. So buy it at your own risk, your own peril. I believe it's got a major meltdown coming. I don't know why. Who knows the reasons? But this is the chart. And then once you get the 3 done, then it will consolidate somewhere down here and hopefully recover. The next one is Porsche. Porsche is an odd one because fundamentally it doesn't make sense why this count exists the way it does, but it's bullish. I don't know why. Maybe the tariffs are going to be legal and maybe that will help their business. Maybe they won't lower prices and they'll just keep them where they are and they'll keep the difference and they'll get a huge refund from the federal government. And this thing goes into a wave 3. I mean, God knows. I don't know why, but it has a higher high here. You have 5 waves up. So you have to be bullish on this. You have to be bullish on it. And the count is the count. So this is where we are. We have a bottom here. And we're trying to build off of this low. The first impulse. So it's too early, though. It's too early to know for sure. But as long as we're above 30.49, I would buy the dip in 3 waves. Okay, so you'd want to buy the dip in 3 waves. Fundamentally, it's hard for me to put my mind around why this is going to go into a bigger move higher, but we never try to figure out the charts. We just try to trade what's here. So maybe they're going to, put out something that's pretty cool. I don't know. Or again, the tariff situation changes and they benefit from it. I can only speculate the reasons why, but this is the reasons. This is the chart. The chart. I think you're going to take these peaks out here at least. Okay. All right. The next question is on what the upside target. Well, the upside target could be new all-time highs, generational low. I mean, this is a generational low. So the upside target could be, look at the massive pump you saw here. The personality of this is this wave 3 pumps. Like, look at the extension you got on the wave 3 of the last grand super cycle. You almost got like a 2618 extension on that pump. So this would probably, a similar move would get you to about $300. 300. That would be my target. Why would it do it? I don't know. Why did it do it here? Who knows why? I don't know. I don't know enough about their business to know why. Maybe they do other things. Like, God knows. I don't know. But we trade the chart on our channel. We don't trade the fundamentals. So maybe the fundamentals will come into view later in several years. All right. Then the next question is on XRHO, rhodium. Let's take a look at that. It's another kind of rare earth. It does look like palladium. So we have not taken out the all-time high. We had a massive crash on the grand super cycle that looks like it's ended. It looks like we have 5 up, but we have not pulled back in 2 yet. So this could be a 1-2-1-2. We are seeing divergence. So this also could peak in 5 at any moment, and we could get a bigger correction in 2, which would take us back down to 665. But it's likely to eventually come out and take these highs out in the coming years. Now, if it's a 1-2-1-2, we'll see it go vertical, right? It will make a big catch-up move. We are starting to see a little bit of that here, but it's not. I don't know if we have enough data to really look at it properly, but it's kind of an illiquid instrument. So perhaps you're in still 3 of 5, and then you top out. Okay. So then, yeah, I think I'm torn. I'm 50-50 between it just going into a 3 of 3 now, because it didn't even pull back. It hasn't even pulled back with that big pullback in the metals and rare earths that we've seen. So this must be playing some kind of catch up. And again, I don't know what it's used for in the real world. I don't know this this rare earth that well. Probably the semiconductors or something, I'm sure, use it. So anyway, that's all I've got on that one. Let's keep going. I believe I covered the original questions, so now I can kind of go through new questions that have been asked recently. Let me see if I can go to those. ALAB, Astera Labs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? The divergences don't support that. It supports more of, let's take a look here. Supports more of like a 1, 2, 1, 2, but let's look at the weekly cycle and maybe a 3-wave move up. So it looks like a 3-wave move up. So it's moving in 3 waves as of now. So there's like I said, there's a lot of ways to label this, but I think the best, this would be 5 waves up here. Yeah, maybe the best way to label it is a 1, 2, 1, 2. I think we'll label it in the more bullish, because I'm not seeing the swings for a corrective move. So I think it's in the more bullish 1, 2, 1, 2 count. Something like this. And we can look at where it is in this cycle here. So I don't like that. The weekly cycle did erase divergence, so always go with the higher time frame view. If there's I we can also want to make sure we see the swings. So 1, 2, 3, a connector, but we see we're missing a swing. So I think even though the weekly does erase divergence, I'd still be really careful because of the daily, and I don't see the swings. So likely make some kind of another swing down. And it would need to stay above this level here and that low here, which it has a lot of space to do so. So probably we'll label it in 5 waves then, as an ABC correction, a zigzag correction. Okay, that's what I would expect this to turn into, and the B should end pretty soon, if not already. We can try to forecast a box for where B would end. Looks like a little bit more upside is possible, and then lower, right? If that box is tagged, it brings you back down to 61. So perhaps it will go deeper into the box to create more space on from the low. But it is what it is. If we do break those lows on RSI I showed earlier, like this low, that low, then it is a corrective move. And I'm wrong in the labeling of the 1, 2, 1, 2 path. It would be it would be some kind of W, X, Y, but it still goes higher. It's still a buyable dip. It's just a different count. Okay. The next question is on Cypherpunk Technologies. Looks like it's a go to zero stock, and we don't try. We just label the go to zero stocks from the first pivot here from the trend. So the trend's higher, right? So now we need to see where it is. It looks like it's diverging there. So it looks like you have a massive extended 5th wave top, common in these pumps, and then it's correcting that. And usually you lose the whole 5th wave, which looks like it almost has done. So typically when you get these big 5s, you lose the whole 5. So you could, I mean, the best area to buy it would be right back at 35 cents. But we need to just look at the corrective pattern now. So again, you made a lower low, right? That could have been the low, it failed. So now we need to look at the rest of the chart. I mean, here's the thing, it did erase divergence. So this chart's different than what we just saw last stock, was erase divergence. So it could be a truncated move, but the bounce here We need to see if it corrects the whole cycle or not. Yeah, it's corrected the whole cycle. So we would, so in this case, we call the low here. We call the low at 86 cents. So as long as you're above 86 cents, there is a possibility for more upside. The correction could be over. So I would label it this way for now. But make no mistake, normally I see these go deeper. So perhaps this rally will trap people and have another leg lower and later. But I think the best way to think about it is long from this level. It looks like you have a higher high here. So it looks like you're building a new wave higher. And then you got, I think once this wave is finished after a little bit, it either is going to drop and come back to that area I said, or it won't, right? So it's buyable now against this low, and you can try to hope for you get wave 3, but I would not be surprised if this is another sucker's rally. That will fail, but I can't, because the conditions have been met, the correction is over, the divergence is erased, that too could be in. Okay, MLGO, we've been kind of following this as it just continues to melt down. Another go to zero stock, put that X there. Looks like that Y is done here. Put that W here. And probably that X is probably done here. So again, what looks like you got another leg lower, and you got to do another 3 waves. And then perhaps you can buy it with a stop loss of 0 and get a big pump. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. It's pretty much melted down just as we expected it would. And just, it's not a straight line down. And that's kind of the chart we're looking at. Look at that. That's a pretty nasty candle there. So that's what we're looking for. Newegg is on our watch list, of course, and we're looking for more downside into the box against 5 waves up. You have 3 waves, so you have a connector here. You have 5 waves down, so you need another 5 waves. I can label this in a lot of different ways. In fact, we could even still be in B with a quick pump back up to 58, but I'd rather wait and buy it at 38.90. And ultimately, you're playing for a 1-2-1-2 setup. We have 5 waves up. It should swing up and take out this peak one more time. But let's look at the larger pic, the bigger picture. I mean, perhaps, yeah, I can't even make it. I guess you can make it corrective. You see where I put this A? I think I was trying to make a point here. I could make this corrective and then call the whole cycle done here. So it's a very risky buy still, okay? So you can't get your hopes up. Like, this could still be a big corrective wave. We may never come back. Like this, you could stop out on this. But if there's a chance for a massive upside potential, it's in this box. Low risk, massive reward if you're right. If you're wrong, you just you're gonna lose some money a little bit, right? So, but if we break this low, then it's likely a corrective bounce, and you're probably coming back to break these lows. So and then it would be a short. Then you would short. Once these lows break, then you can short the rips until you come back down to retest those lows. So right now it's a bullish setup. This is the bullish setup. And if you can get it at 38, 36, you're only risking, a few dollars here to gain potentially considerably more money. And that's your call if you want to do that or not. But it's not risk-free, and it's not like a slam dunk trade either because of what I just said. Okay. Next question is Pepe. Pepe's been pumping. Again, that's what these cryptos are doing. It's like kind of like a carrot being dangled in front of market participants, and they're trying to get you to, chomp on it real quick. If you're patient, you'll get all your favorite altcoins and cryptos much lower. But if you get tempted by the little carrot hanging in front of your face, you're going to get rug pulled, but you just don't know when that next cycle lower is going to start. Okay, so Pepe, I think in my mind, is like the carrot dangling in front of investors right now. Let's take a look at Pepe. I think I have this somewhere already done. At least I thought I did. Oh, there it is. Let's take a look here. Charts may be wrong because we haven't updated this in a while. So yeah, so last time we were trying to play this bullish setup, right? We're hoping to hold that low and it melted down, right? Everyone stops fired. So now let's look at the structure. So the structure here is an ABC. You got a bounce in 3 waves, and then you broke the low here. So could you have corrected in a bigger move? So let's take a look. So you're going to have a double correction. And the question is X done here or not? Okay, that's the question. Well, the first thing I would do, we have a lower low. So the first thing I need to do is see, did it go deep enough on that dump? It probably didn't, right? It probably didn't go deep enough. See, we're well short. And then if it's negative, we have to use a different method. So let's use this method. And if we look at that. Coincidentally, look where the wick hit. It's almost like magic. 2632. See, it hit exactly. Oh, you're a fortune teller. You must be a whale. You must have known. That's how we forecasted, by the way, the Bitcoin buy on the flash crash. The same way. We just got really fortunate on that. So the box was here with a stop loss of 0, essentially. So that was the box. So you did tag it. So now the $1 million question is, did divergence erase or not? And if it didn't erase, that means the correction isn't over. So let's see the verdict. Let's go to the weekly cycle. Weekly cycle says, wow, divergence erased. Let's take a look at from our wave here. You're correcting the whole move. So what we have in front of us is this is a major low. So like most of the altcoins, this flash crash low has to hold. If it doesn't hold, it's a go to 0 altcoin. Okay, it's a go to 0 altcoin. If your favorite altcoin breaks your flash crash lows, you're in a lot of trouble. So now we need to look at where are we in the first wave off the low. And this is the $1 million question with a lot of these altcoins. I think a lot of these altcoins are going to do something like that. Okay? I don't think we're ready for wave 3 in the altcoin market yet. Here you see all that divergence on the shorter time frame. Let's go to the 4-hour as well. That's an ABC correction. That's a 5-wave move down. It's a 5-wave move down. So we have some kind of ABC correction here. So if it's 5 waves down, that means we should get another leg lower. Now by going like what it did, it created space to hold this low, preserve the bottom. So this may survive. This may survive the come in on decline that we may see. So you create, and the market created space. If it's going to peak here, and I can't tell you when it's going to peak because we're still in the pump right now. But if it's going to peak here, we'll head back down to 29.07, right? Somewhere in this area to retest that low, the flash crash low. So my guess is the altcoin markets are all going to retest these lows. Some of them will hold, some of them will break. The ones that break, I would just not trade them anymore. I would trade the ones that hold these lows. This one looks like it's set up to hold the low. Okay, that's what it looks like to me. By doing this pump, it's created the space. Now, when is B gonna decline? Well, it could keep going, right? It could keep going. Now, if it goes any higher, it'll be a flat on a 3-wave move off of this peak, and it would turn into 5 waves. So it changed the structure, but it would I still think another leg lower would happen. But right now it looks okay. So this is our chart. Get rid of this. It's kind of in our way. But so as you can see, we got the level using our system, just a different method, and we got to hold that low. We got to hold that low. Okay. But I do think these this is still a carrot in front of the on the stick here. This little rally here, I think it will lose it. It's just it needs to hold this low, and so we give it the benefit of the doubt. We have 5 waves down, so we'll just give it the benefit of the doubt that it's going to hold the low or not. Okay, and then let the market decide for us. So we'll have to come back to it. Okay, that's Pepe. What's interesting too is it came back to this 4. Okay, so we'll see if it can hold that. All right, the next question. So you have a question on Bitcoin too. We could have seen a Bitcoin run in flat, end of B, summer. I'll take a look at it real quick. I'm always open to different ideas. Sometimes different ideas do get I'm interested in it. Let's see. Bitcoin running flat, start of January 25. So let's see if I can find that. So somewhere here. And start of an A, January. So A, B, and then C. Oh, okay, so I see what you're saying. So it's a run-in flat from here. Well, a couple problem. The only issue I see, the A leg is okay, but the B leg, this would be the B leg. You need to see that in three waves. It looks like 5 waves to me. And then the wave, this C leg will need to be in 5, and it looks like it's moving in 3s. Not to say that it couldn't, I mean, could that be a 4 and we make 5? The only way you would have to have a really, the structure would have to be 3, and then 3, and then an A, B, C. So you would have to have like an A, a B, and then a C, and then this be A, B, C. And I don't usually see that with those kind of flats. And I don't think it is. And I take in other data besides this, right? I'm watching professional traders that trade Bitcoin since it's existed, that have done very well. They have millions of dollars in it. They use a different system than me, completely independent, and they're forecasting, ironically, the same price I am. So when you have two systems that are completely different coming to the same conclusion, that's usually a huge sign. And also there's other indicators that we look at as well, right? The dollar, the market to tie to them. So when you put all the data together, I don't think you can get a minor low and a big rally unless you're going to get the dollar index to meltdown, no rally, and also the market probably to reverse course and go hard to 800 SPY. The April cycle is already corrected. Those conditions could change it. So I think you're going to get another leg lower. Okay. Just for now, that's my view. Okay, that's my view on it. All right. Next is FAZ. We always talk about FAZ. Is, again, if you want, I'm giving you guys some really easy, simple advice on bearish ETFs. Okay, really easy advice. Buy the first pullback when the cycle ends. Don't bottom fish it. Right? Just buy the first pullback when the cycle ends. Okay. If it fails, then you try again later, because you'll catch it. You'll catch it. And once you do, the moves are huge and they're fast. So you have right now the FAZ. You have this cycle's over clearly, and now you got the first pullback. So guess what? Now it's time to buy it against 3602. If we're right, your gains go to 52. So that's the play. Now, if this breaks, guess what happens? This extends. And then you have a whole huge cycle lower. That means the financials are going to go much higher. We're wrong. The financials are not in a 5 anymore. That changes things considerably. So the bears have to defend this level. Okay, now it could still do something really erratic, right? It could still do something like this. But once it breaks the low, it's doomed. This won't happen this will be trading in this for a longer time period. So the only setup in FAZ is what I have here. So that's the setup. You do have a higher high here from this low. So it's kind of like the bears have to step up with the financials and do something. It's time to do something about them. Okay, and if they can, they'll have we'll have a bank scare, a financial scare of some kind. I don't know why, but we would. That's what this chart says. Okay, and then MSTU. What is that one? Yeah, that's one that you have to, it's very risky because you have to want to bottom fish it. I mean, when you look at this, you've broken the all-time low. I mean, this looks really ugly. So if you go to MSTR, right, MSTR can be interpreted in two ways, okay? So MSTR is in an ABC correction. Now this is a 5, and this is a box off of this connector. So the system is aligning, like, oh my God, it's a major low. Maybe Bitcoin is ready to moon. Oh, holy crap, right? That's what this is saying, right? That's what it's saying right now, okay? But the problem I have is it's too early to know for sure, because look at how big the box is. Your stop loss is 0. That's a problem. So what that also means is this is valid. So this is going to be why I'm not recommending trading it, because this is also valid, what I have here. That's valid. So if you get this, you'll regret ever buying it here. So we don't know yet. The market, that's why Bitcoin's frozen. We don't know what it's going to do. Coinbase has the same kind of outcome. So if you buy it here and you're wrong, your account's going to get blown up. So if you buy MSTU, that product could be blown up. You could lose a considerable amount of money. But this is 3 of 3 to the downside. It means you'll have selling worse than this. Heavier than that. So if that count is possible. So we got to wait. So it's better to wait. Wait till the cycle ends. Like I keep saying, wait till this cycle ends. You get a bigger bounce and then buy the first pullback. When you see that, then it's time to buy this. Then it's time to buy this. Right now, I would never recommend it. I can't even chart it because of what I just said. If I have my rosy colored sunglasses on and I'm a perma bull in crypto, I would tell you, oh, it's a 5. Go buy Coinbase. Go buy MSTR. It's time. It's going to hit. Do it. Do it. And do it. And I would say, load up on MSTU. Go for it. But I could be leading you to slaughter because it can easily be a 1-2, 1-2. And then you're going to lose most of your money in those leveraged funds. So we don't know. So we just leave it on. We just got to table this one for now. Let the market do its thing, and then we'll react. We're not going to guess. We don't guess on our channel and pray. My members, we're not a prayer group, guys. If you join my service, you're not joining a prayer group. We don't just sit there and pray and hope our trades work out. We're not praying for reaction. We are taking action based on a situation that's happened already in the past. We're not praying for a future outcome, right? If this thing melts down in a massive 3, there'll be other opportunities besides in crypto. If this rallies and pulls back, we'll react to that. We're not going to buy this and guess. We're not going to buy things and guess or sell things and guess on my channel. We don't do that. Okay, we just don't do that. But again, if your system has an insight that mine doesn't, then maybe you should go for it. I'm not going to stop you, but I wouldn't. I'm not personally. I would wait. So I think the best thing to do on this is wait, and once you get a reaction higher, just buy the first pullback against whatever the low is, because it's likely to be a major low, more than likely, when that happens. But if it doesn't happen, God help you if you're in this. Okay. And the other thing I always tell people on my groups is once you're correct in the grand super cycle, there's no guarantee these highs ever come back. In fact, stocks go out of business. Once the grand super cycle ends, it can go to 0, literally go to 0. So that's another risk. That's another risk. And I always use the example back in the day of Chesapeake Energy. Looked so juicy, $1, pennies, and then it finally just went bankrupt and everyone lost everything. And then it relaunched itself and then it mooned. But the original equity holders lost everything. So there's no guarantee this peak will ever be reached again if it's in a grand super cycle decline either. And that's what it's in. Okay, so that's MSTU. And thanks again, guys. Tesla. Tesla's got again a connector that's again just tough to trade as a day trader because This is like going against my system, but basically you have, this is what Tesla has. This is what you're going to see in Tesla. So you own calls and puts, you're going to end up with, like, you're going to have to really be nimble if this chart plays out. Look at this chart. This is the Tesla chart right now. And we got to break lower. And if you look at the count, it doesn't look like it's done yet to the downside based on this count. Looks like you got more lows coming, but when this does end, you should have a pretty big pump. But that pump is likely to fail. So Tesla is probably not going to go anywhere for a while. Okay, this is where we're going because of how we topped here. That's the clue. We topped in 3 waves. You see that 3 waves? That's the clue. But we did make a higher high. So you have to resolve the higher high by this pump, but you also have to resolve by going lower because of the 3 waves. And that's what we're seeing now. So we've been pretty fortunate with Tesla. We've traded, my channel has a lot of success with Tesla trading it. We have had a lot of success historically. Not sure why my system works really well with Tesla, but it does. This is not really, this is more just chart forecasting. No, there's no box. So this is susceptible to having more error right here. However, this is the only path that made sense to me. That's why I drew it up like this for now. So that's the chart. But I think Tesla should be okay in the future because it's already got so many higher highs, right? It's already clear. It's clearly bullish. It's just in a massive fight. It always is. Tesla always is. So I think something like this. I think this is what we're going to see. Okay. I don't think it's but it's close. I think it's close. It's close. You can see that. It's close. Maybe you got some bullish divergence that needs to play out. Some lower prices. You get some 45-minute bullish divergence there, and perhaps that impulse is finished. So it's close. I think it's close, but I don't think it's there just yet. Now, the other thing is, by the way, I can't guarantee this pump here. This is a massive speculation move, right? And there's no box because we're still kind of chopping around. Now, this wave 2 could be done here. I just don't know. So we could go lower. So this is very tough. So I would not trade this count, but I am showing you what I think. So I am willing to put on paper what I think, but I wouldn't recommend trading it in this area unless you get a box. And there's just no box yet. There's no box here to trade as of now. Maybe that will change, right? We got boxes here. This was a box, but it failed. But again, we fought the market and we just bought it again, and that was a good idea. So sometimes we don't get, I mean, we did get a reaction. Some people did make money on this if you were nimble. And then of course, the market double corrected. So we just bought it again here. Our pro group bought this, and our pro group's long from this level. So the pro group, you know, you take some profit and then you just let the market decide. Now, if we take this level out, right, what I'm showing here, right, you have to buy it again and see. So there's, but again, the count could be different. And if it's different, then you don't want to sell it now. You wouldn't want to wait. So that's why we let the market decide for us. So if the market does take this level out, where could it end up? Just kind of give you an idea. I'll try to do this real quick. Give you an idea here. So maybe you'll see it go down to 351. So 351. That's that's probably the worst case scenario right now, I'm thinking. Okay. But Tesla's got a tricky chart because of the way it topped here. Bull and Fubu. I'll get to that. I'll come back to that real quick. ON. Oh man, we just missed our target by like a couple pennies here. Well, I mean, we know what's coming next, right? I mean, I don't think why would we change what we did. So now you have a 3-wave move and you broke the low. So now we can forecast a new area to buy it. Another box, right? 31.67. So that's our new box, but I have to still check the RSI out. Yeah, you raise divergence here. You're still in the correction. It's tricky. It's like, where's your connector? Is this your connector or is this one? Right now, it's still this one. Still this one. If we go any higher, then the low is in. It truncated. So if it goes any higher, that's the low. Okay. So it's going to decide probably in the next few trading sessions. So either you've got the low here, truncate it, or he makes one more swing into the box. I don't like that look because you don't have, you see, you don't have the subdivisions quite right. So I'm leaning toward that's probably the low. And then you're starting your next leg higher. So as long as you're above 34.52, but it's just, so I think if you could take out 50.28, then you know for sure that that's the low and it's gone. It's there. So that's probably where it is at the moment. And this is why, you know, trading in and out of the market's always tough, because then you can miss these moves. But I think it's probably in its next leg higher. I think it is, but we don't have enough evidence yet to confirm it. But perhaps tomorrow we'll get that move. And once we do, we'll have 5 waves up, and that will be the low. If we melt down, you'll have another box, and this wave would just have to be equivalent to that. We just have to, and then it would have to capitulate, erase divergence, and you get the idea. Okay, and then the next question is groove. Let's see, another go to zero. Looks like a go to zero play. Yeah, go to zero. So again, we don't typically trade these, but if you have to trade them, the way I would do it is make sure that low is hold. So we're holding that low, which is good. And then we want to see how it came off of this bottom, right? And I don't know if we'll have enough data to analyze it correctly, but we might. I mean, it has a little divergence off that low. You know, we could try maybe to look at the 4 hour a little bit. So it's probably coming off of this bottom here, some kind of 5-wave move. So let's just assume it's 5 waves and it's correcting from this peak. Right, and now we need it to hold that low, and we do have a clear connector, right? This is a very clear connector. So we can try to forecast a level. Try to forecast the level. It's basically a double bottom. So you got the capitulation right there. Right there. So let's see if that's the low in price. And it is. So we would put the 2 here. So it's trying to build out a new cycle higher. I don't know if it'll be successful. It's trying to. It's still in the correction. See, it never took it out. So it's still very dangerous to buy. I would probably say that it only looks like 3 waves up. It did not correct. It's still in the correction. This looks like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're in the middle area. You're in an area of indecision. It does look like you're getting bullish divergence there. So maybe it's 1, 2, an ABC 5-wave move down. If that's the case, it's bearish. I suspect it's going to break the lows. Okay, I think it will. So I wouldn't get your hopes up it's going higher. I think, to me, it's likely to come back to retest this low, but you don't have enough room. And if it does that, it's going to have to erase that divergence there. And I don't know if it has room to do it. So I wouldn't recommend trading it. I really can't analyze it. I think if you take this wave out, it's game over. Like short at will. Just short it at will. And go have fun shorting it if you can even short it. and get the shares, whatever. But I think buying it is risky, but maybe it can hold 102. If it can hold 102, maybe it could be a flat off of this peak. If it's a flat off of this peak, that's your bullish play right there. That would be your bullish play. 5 waves, A, B, and then 5 waves down. That's it. So yeah, maybe it's not that much to risk, but gap down risk. Okay, HIMS. Let's take a look at HIMS. I haven't looked at that in a while. And let's take a look at what we have here. Only made 3 up. We never made the 5. So we need to take another look at this. Perhaps we're still in 4. Maybe it's moving in 3 waves. Well, see how we never took this peak out? We're obviously correcting this lake here, are we? Let's look. We're right at support. It's likely to break it. So we're likely looking at a 1-2-1-2 count. So we're probably in HIMS looking at a 1-2, 1-2. So this would be like a super cycle degree. And then this would be a cycle degree. So it's probably some kind of 1-2, 1-2. And now it's correcting this leg. And so we always know, now that it's in a bigger correction, right? It's going to usually lose the 5. So here's your 5. So it's probably coming back down to $12. That's probably your connector wave. And I mean, I could project the target. I'll go back and label everything real quick. But more than likely, this is where I would look to buy it in this box here. So maybe it won't go as low as I just said. Maybe it comes down into this area here. So I'd be looking to buy it in this box. Let's look at where we are now. All these rallies failed. You know, it's kind of, in hindsight, it was a middle area. We were hoping to get a 5 and never worked out. Never worked out. Never got the 5 for some reason. All right, so let's take a look here. Looks like it's trying to make some kind of weird, like this. I think I'm just going to label it this way. I was like, should I make it a flat or not a flat? I'm not going to make it a flat. Let's fix that real quick. So I'm not going to make it a flat. I think and then this Y, it's just been in this like 3-wave decline. A, B, let's take a look here. See, it's moving in 3 waves all the way down from here. Let's go to the higher time frame and see. Yeah, I think we just have to trade what we see. I think we'll just have to make the call here that it's something like that. And then this is another WXY. So I think it's getting close. It's getting close. So it's in the next leg lower. So as long as you're below 4104, I would expect more downside as this continues to go lower into the box. And then when it goes into the box, you want to see it a risk divergence, right? Which it kind of already has. So you basically just need to continue to capitulate down. If we start to rally too soon, then it could turn into something else in the connector wave. And it very well could be. So I would want to wait and see if you can get this box. Could that be the low? Let's just see if we could talk ourselves into this being the low. But this could also, what if that's the low? So if that's the low, we'd want 5 waves up. 1, 2. Now, maybe we can get 5 here. And then let's see, we have an A, B, and then C. Yeah, maybe. So if we rally from here, so there's a couple things. You watch this line. If we break that trend line, if you break this trend line coming down, before we get to the box, before you break this low, it's a 1, 2, 1, 2. And this is a flat. Okay, I can't guarantee it though. I just don't know. I think I'd rather be conservative and wait, but it has been in a correction for a long time. So I think it's 50-50. But either way, I think you're going higher. Okay? So whether you're just going to have to decide and do what's best for you on this one. So it's either a 1, 2, 1, 2, which is about to end right now, about to end, because this would have to be, again, I'm forcing these counts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These don't look impulsive, by the way, but I would be forcing those labels, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it would end, and then you get a big rally. The other count is what I have here. That fits the wave structure better, this count. So we'll go with this count, okay? And then you'll have to decide, again, or you can wait, let it react, and then buy the first pullback. If it reacts here with a big candle and we take out 41, just buy the first pullback and enjoy the ride for probably years of gains. Or you wait and you buy a box. So one or the other, your call. Okay. Let's take a look at the next one, path. UPath. Let's take a look. So we've probably got that finished here and finished there. So let's see if divergence erased. We don't have enough data. So we just have to assume it's finished here. Okay, it's finished that cycle. So it's in a erratic bottom. So I would trade it this way. So yeah, so I would just trade that. So this pullback, it's pulling back against this impulse. Probably will come back to 12 bucks and then go higher. We traded this well. Look, we had the box here, we had the short box here, so we've traded this one pretty well. So I think it goes higher. Okay. I think that one's pretty straightforward. LDI, Loan Depot. Again, it seems like a go to zero. Let's take a look at how it's done so far. We had the big five wave move up. It's over. And now it's could be ready for its big move down, which is what it's been doing. Probably put that 3 and 4 right here. Right? I'm not sure what that meant back then. I'm not sure. Again, we haven't looked at this in a while. So what do we know here? You see you have the lower low. So this is likely to go all the way down. So this is there's no guarantee this will ever come back. And in fact, when you made the lower low, you had the bounce, you have a failed cycle already. So this is going lower. So this is a short in 3 waves for sure. At least until you get to 145. So it has a chance to save itself at 145. So at 145, it could save itself and make a dramatic move higher and extend the C leg. But until it gets there, I would expect the rallies to fail. And you're still in a corrective move as of now. You haven't even... So we're off of this connector. So In fact, this could be your connector, which would be even more bearish. So yeah, actually that's your connector. This is your connector. So this box is, I have to take that back. That box is not, it's not accurate. So if we're moving down in three waves, right, you still have a huge leg lower, but let's take a look here. You see how you have 3, you're turning up. It's going to do something like this. It's going to do something like that. That's what I think is going to happen, okay? So I think you're going to get a pump. So I think it's going to do something like this, and then at some point this C will fail and have another leg lower. So I suspect that's what's about to happen. So when see, by looking at the RSI was the clue. Let's see if it's in. See, it's right on the edge. It pierced the box already. So it's actually dangerous, but I think, yeah, it's in. See, it's in that zone. So it's right in the zone where it should turn. You see how it wants to turn on the daily? I bet it's going to do this. I bet it's going to do that. Okay. BMNR. And remember, guys, this is the year of patience. You're going to be in these connector waves for months. BMNR just did not work out. We tried to stay optimistic, but fortunately it just didn't work. The triangle didn't work. We did expect more downside. It just took a different path to get there. It took the more conventional path. So now we need to see where it's going to go from here. So you have a big connector. So that's a major low, right? But if you look, it only looks like 3 waves down. That's not the right structure. Yeah, we may have had the wrong. It may be in a WXY structure. It has to be in a WXY structure. There's no other explanation for it. So that cycle's over. So now you're trying to build a new cycle higher. So we need to stay above 2431. It only looks like 3 waves. And it only looks like 3 waves down. So it seems like to me it would be pretty bearish for a whole nother leg lower, right? Imagine if it did this. It could. It would be more expected to do something more like this, right? This would be more probable. That would be more probable, right? But as of now, that could be the low, but we only see 3 waves. That's the problem. So I can't, unless it turns into some lead-in diagonal off the lows, you can't really get too excited. So I think we need to leave this unlabeled. I would just say that expected, as long as you're above 24.27, I would expect more upside. But I do think, based on what I'm seeing here, I wouldn't be surprised you see something like that, and then you see another leg lower. Okay, wouldn't be surprised, but it's hard for me to think this won't break the low, given where it is now with the crypto forecast that we have, right? Unless if Bitcoin has a major low, well then this is obviously the low, but it doesn't look like it, and you see that's why you only have 3 waves. The worst case scenario for bulls is this. This is the worst case. But that is also a valid count. That's just as valid as the other count. So I don't know. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know. I think you have to. I think the best, as long as you're above this low, you can expect more upside. But I think it's highly likely you're going to break the low. Okay. I think it's highly likely. If we saw more of an impulsive look here, I would be a little more optimistic. Or if we can come back and take this high out, but we haven't. So I think just keep an open mind to another leg lower. Okay, next is BTBT, and I believe that's kind of a similar something like this, like another, again, we're just trying to trace the waves, and like a bigger pump that will fail for one more low. See, I mean, again, with crypto, if you're patient, you're going to be okay. If you have to trade it every day, it's going to be tough. So I think this is going to do something like that. Okay, something like that. Okay, that's a tough one. That's an easy one for me, as long as this doesn't erase divergence. It could erase divergence like MicroStrategy, and then it's going to melt down, really melt down. I can't rule out a 1-2-1-2. So I think this is what we'll get, but I can't rule that out either. Crypto's real challenging right now in a lot of ways for the short-term trader. Long-term trader, if you're patient, you're going to be fine. A short-term day trader, you got to be like, you're going to have an aneurysm trying to trade it right now. You probably have stress, headache, migraines trying to day trade, unless you have a super duper system that no one knows about that we need to know about, because you're just guessing around right now. I'd rather let's let it make a move. Is Coinbase going to crash? Is MicroStrategy going to crash, or are they not? Are they going to let's let them make a move, and then we can have something there, right? And then we can figure out the short-term cycle on crypto, where it wants to go, and trade that. The long term, we know it's going lower. Short term is the tricky forecast in crypto right now. It's very tricky. All right, next is some M79 Australia stock and the ASX. Let's see what that's all about. Minerals. Yeah, ASX, of course, is a minerals heavy index. Resources. Interesting chart. Not a lot of data. So I think with this, we'll just trade it off this low because there's just a lack of data. Yeah, I'll take a look at the ASX. My ASX chart is not updated. Kind of lost touch. I don't really trade that, but I will. I know there's guys that follow me from Australia, so I should do that and update that. And yeah, it is resource heavy, so yeah, it would actually do well in a future. The future, something like that. Looks like a 1-2-1-2 setup potentially, but we have to check the higher time frames before we get all excited here. See how we erase divergence? So it may not be a 1-2-1-2 setup, so it could be corrective. So it could be this, but I think you gotta be careful it's not some kind of corrective move or start of a lead in diagonal. Maybe that. You see how it's consolidated in here? That looks like a bearish continuation pattern, a triangle maybe. So perhaps there's an opportunity for a dip down if it dips down to 6 cents. Okay? That's your opportunity right there against 3 cents. So there's your opportunity. I would look for something like that. Okay? I wouldn't really speculate with it here. So something like that. Okay? HSAI. Oh, that's one that we haven't heard of in a while. Yeah, how's that one doing? Let's take a look here. We took the high out, so it has an incomplete move higher. Again, for this one, you can see we have 5 waves up, so we're just gonna we're not gonna overthink this on this. We're just gonna assume bullish for right now, bullish intent on this chart here, and this is some 5-wave move up. So the question is that 2 in or not? So if that's the 3, normally we would lose that and come back down. We know China has another leg lower, so this is likely a connector wave that's going to fail. Can I guarantee it will fail? No, because we did erase divergence. So there is a chance that 2 is in. Let's look at the shorter time frame. Yeah, you're making 5 waves up. So I would say the 2 is in. Okay, and now you're making the first impulse off the low. Right, and you'll pull back. Something like that. Okay, that's HSI. And then the other one is Boyle. Well, we don't really trade natural gas on our groups because of the system I use isn't very good with natural gas. But I'll do the best I can. But basically, natural gas forecast, we had this big pullback in B. We expect it. We're getting it, but we would expect that to be bought from one more push higher. So where would natural gas need to go? We're looking for 291. So you can time your Boyle purchase here at 291. And if you're lucky, you'll make a lot of money. But I tell you, my system for some reason isn't that effective with natural gas, but this is my chart. This is the chart. So using the system. So there's a system there. Boyle would obviously melt down more and then have a huge rally. So I won't even chart it. It's basically wait to buy Boyle when natural gas is down here. That's the play. And then if this low breaks, just stop out, get out of it. Okay. NEO, I did a special update on that, deep dive that you can see on my channel. And we are expecting another leg lower into. So this is the count. I've already went through it. You can watch the deep dive. I did like a 10-minute analysis on it, but basically more downside. Okay. But we need to hold this low at all costs. Okay. I can't rule out short term another little pump here, but I would expect another leg lower. And we're giving it the benefit of the doubt here, calling this a major low, because I can easily call it a connector wave from this low and call it an A, B, C, and then we breach these lows. So it's very tough to you know, it can go either way, but I'd rather buy it than sell it. I'd rather be a buyer, especially on this pullback against this low, than sell it. If you know what if you understand what I'm saying there. Okay, and then Vuzi is, I think I had that one in. So Vuzi, we're in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 off the low, and then another huge rug pull, right? Another huge rug pull back down. So something like this is what I'm thinking. It's got to make this fifth wave. It's got to come back and take out 431. If it does that, that's huge for the technicals on this, because then it's no longer a corrective structure. So let's take a look at where it is now. I hadn't updated this in a little bit. So it's still trying to build a wave 3 of 5. So I think it's got more upside. This is probably a 1, 2, 1, 2. And we'll make a 5. If you're lucky, it erases divergence and it's go time. Right? It could do that. This could be a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then it's just go time. But I suspect you'll make 5, and then you'll pull back again. Okay, that's what I suspect. So this is what I'm thinking right now, but I think you have more upside. Okay, based on this. If for some reason this fails, and I don't think it will because it doesn't look corrective, then it's doomed. But I do think it's okay. I think it's coming out slowly. We do have 5 waves here. A huge pullback, another huge pullback that truncated a little, then you got 5, then you had another huge pullback. So this thing just loves to destroy people who chase it. And I think it will do the same thing again up here. Okay, then Lunar, I think we did a special update on that stock on the morning update. I covered that. And it's in a very dangerous area that it could reverse. It looks like you have 5 waves up. What bearish divergence? We do have we have 5 waves down. That's why we think, so this is an A. It's 5 waves down. So this should fail at some point. So at some point it will rug pull. I don't know if that's the right level at this point. We can look at that real quick. I mean, that's 359 right there. So actually the level's even lower. So my point is, don't fall in love with it. Right? Now, you could go a little higher, but I have a feeling because this is 5 waves down, it's going to rug pull, just like you saw here. In this very dangerous area right now. Okay. And can I make my TradingView setups public for elite members? I'll have to play around and do that. I'm not comfortable doing that. I'm just not sure. I'm very, like, people like, oh, get a Discord and then just talk to me every day, every minute while I trade. Like, I'm not, that's not the service I provide. So unfortunately, but I'll look into it. I'll see if it's something simple enough. I'll do it. If it's too much effort and I have to be glued to my screen, I'm not doing it, because again, TradingView, this is like a working meta file. Like when I present it in my videos, it's like a complete, like I've polished up what I needed to. So I don't want to share charts that are like half done and incomplete. That would be stupid. So I got to make sure I'm sharing the right things. Bull. So let's go back to there was someone asked me a minute ago, Bull and Fubo. So we'll cover Bull and Fubo now. All right, Bull. Web Bull. Looking for something like this. The cycle's ended with this pump here. So as long as you're above 762, I mean, you can try to play that sea leg. Try to play it. It would eventually fail. So it's just a trade. Now you got that first move off the low. Looks impulsive, but looks can be deceiving. See, did not have divergence. So it's still not it's still a corrective bounce. So you got to be careful. Got to be careful on it. So it's something like this right now. Now, if you get 5, that's good. And then you can pull back. And that's your opportunity on that pullback against this low. And then Fubo is in a box. It's languishing in a box. And, it's kind of a speculative play that could work out if this... Now, we did remember back here, we had Fubo in a box. And it took a lot of conviction to hold through this box. But then one day you woke up almost 400%. So that's I guess, what people love to have happen. So is it a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, or is it corrective? The problem is if it's corrective, this is gonna break. So this is the bullish setup. So there's the bullish setup. You're only risking, as of now, like 20 cents for a massive amount of reward. But if that breaks, then the bullish setup's lost. It's a corrective bounce, right? This is a corrective bounce, and it's likely to come back and break these lows. So so this is the bullish setup. So the bullish setup is here, but for some reason buyers just aren't stepping up yet. If they step up and get this moving, then you're in good shape. But that's the low. It's gotta stay above that low. The bullish setup's lost, in my opinion. Now, could it still be in this wave too? Unlikely, because the RSI would likely break. It'd probably be corrective. So maybe you could talk yourself into an ABC and a bigger 1-2 as a leading diagonal. Maybe you could talk yourself into that. So that would put you at, from a level standpoint, see, that breaks these lows. You just can't, it doesn't survive. The chart doesn't survive. So the bullish case for this needs to hold this low. If it doesn't, it's likely to come back and break these lows down here. Okay, then that's Fubo. Now mRNA. mRNA is trying to base it out. It's trying to go through some kind of stealth accumulation, I believe. But the problem I have with it is just the way the corrective structure looks to me. That's the only problem I have with it. But I haven't looked at it too hard, so we'll look at it a little harder tonight. Okay, so we had our first massive 3 waves down. We hit a box, had a rally, but the rally failed, right? So you're in a double correction. right? You're in some kind of double correction. The question is it over or is it not over? I mean, we're still, if you could break that trend line on the weekly, it's over. But obviously the first leg down, or the Y could be done, or we could be in a connector in Y. Let's look at the monthly cycle. Yeah, see, it still doesn't quite do it yet, see? So we just don't have that confirmation yet that it's a major low here, right there. The RSI leads you to think it could be. However, it could still be in something like this. And you get one more swing down. So it's tough to, and then we'd have to get a new box. So I don't like how it's reacting in here. It's not really doing much. It's not impulsive. It's corrective. So that's why I haven't really talked about it too much to our members. I think if I'm just looking at it tonight, I think it goes another leg lower. I don't think it goes to zero, but I think it takes another little dive down in Y and finishes up the correction. That's what I think it's going to happen. But sometimes the grand super cycle does go to zero. I don't think this company will go to zero unless there's some massive litigation risk we don't know about yet. I think, let's look at that wave a little closer and just see if that's 5 waves or not. But even if it is, it's an ABC. So yeah, see, it's an ABC. So you're going to see 5. So we don't have enough data. I would want this, if we could see a more impulsive look develop, or at least 5 swings out, then we could get more interested in buying the pullbacks. But I think buying it here could be a little risky. It does look like it's being accumulated, but I worry that you get another leg lower. Just because of the look of the shape of the waves. Like, look, down, a huge bounce, and a low, a connector, you went down, a bounce. It's like you need another low to complete the sequence. Okay? All right. And just kind of looking at, I think I got through all the stocks. So let's go through I'll go through your guys' comments. Thanks, guys. Appreciate all the likes, and I really thank you guys for following. Yeah, a lot of bad news isn't moving the market anymore. Yeah, I think, sometimes the market does trade on that news, or sellers use that news to amplify the position. So the thing you have to ask yourself is, does the news create the sell-off, or do the sellers use the news as a justification or a way to amplify the panic, and they load their shares? So maybe the way to think about it is, let's say you're the sellers. You have a huge position you're going to sell and dump on the market and crash the market. But there's news that's going to emerge that you're going to leverage, that you're going to amplify the losses by starting that panic. So you're going to wait and you're going to hold your firepower. So this what perceived to be bad news, while it's bad, the real sellers know we're going to wait for something even worse. We're going to hold back our firepower. 1, that traps more bulls, and 2, it keeps them from selling. They're using their dry powder on this from a sell standpoint. So that's the poker like view of the market, right? That maybe the news isn't the catalyst, but the news is just being leveraged by market participants that can move the market whales, you want to call it, or Aladdins out there. And what it is there's a bigger news event, a bigger black swan that you and I may not know about, but they do, or they're gonna create, and they're waiting for that, and then all of the market will be hit with massive selling, and then they'll step back and let the panic ensue, and like an avalanche. So I do think that's probably what's happening. So my guess is the news that's really going to cause the sell-off hasn't presented because the sellers haven't. They're holding back and waiting for that right moment. And the news will either show up because they know it and they control the news, like some people think COVID was orchestrated, or they wait, or they are patient, like Warren Buffett is as a buyer. They're patient and they're going to wait for a catastrophe, and then they're just going to unload on the market, and then they're going to create the massive panic. So they're just waiting for a black swan moment. And they're just more patient than they're waiting for something big to really that they can leverage to amplify the move, to magnify the move, right? Because they'll start the sell-off, they'll get it started, and they'll hit the market hard with selling, and then they'll let the retail and all the other sheep get slaughtered, and that'll push the market even lower, and then they'll come in and buy it. So that's probably what's happening. So there's probably a bigger news event that no one has even thought about yet that's going to hit the market in Q1. That's a black swan, right? That's probably what's going to happen. So something's going to happen like that, and it's going to catch everyone off guard. And then they'll use that situation, whether they know about it or not. And when that happens, boom, the markets go toast. Then the volatility is going to explode. So I think that's what's happening about news. Yeah. ANYL, what is ANYL again? I think A1NL, is that the pharma company? I don't remember what that one is. I don't have it coming up, must be misspelled or something. But anyway, I think I covered everyone's questions, guys. Thanks again for calling in. I appreciate it. All the support. If you're interested in joining my service, you should join. Like I said, in the 2022 bear market, man, we caught a lot of things at major lows that people only wish they were able to buy, but we did. We got DraftKings, we got Palantir and Robinhood. So I mean, we typically are patient, right? And but if you are looking for the next big pump, like you want immediate gratification, probably not the service for you. But if you are more patient, long-term type of investor, so let's take a look at crypto real quick. So you see how that pump? It still technically could be C. But the more, like I said, once we take out those peaks, then you're going up here, right? You're going up to this box, right? And then you're going to get a bigger X. So we keep an eye on crypto, but we're not, like I said, it's real erratic to trade it here. It could go a lot of different ways, here, looking at it. But anyway, guys, yeah. So think about joining my service. I think you'll learn and you'll see the market in a different way that you maybe not seen before, and then. And hopefully you get something out of it. I know, like I said, I have a really high retention rate for people that do subscribe. So that's it. So good night. Let's see what happens. And like I said, market's really interesting. Like I said, it's very it's looking for that short-term direction. It's still just kind of chopping around. Look at the dollar index, strong and interesting. Yeah, just nothing really other than crypto's kind of interesting. I would say crypto breaking this level would open up a bigger pump. Okay, but if it can't do that, then you could still get caught up in this kind of consolidation and get like boom, come back down. So it's really tricky. All right, guys.